Hi everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today is Tuesday the 28th of September, and I'm going to be doing more on the Linux. I'm going to be doing Linux today. So in the previous video, Linux video, I installed Ubuntu. Had a bit of a problem installing it onto a big machine here, so I installed it onto a virtual machine. But it's easy. It's easy to use a virtual machine, especially with the OBS software. I can easily screenshot the virtual machine. So I'm looking at today Linux command line. So I'm on their webpage at the moment on this machine. I'm just gonna read what they have on there. So at the moment we're on the overview. So the Linux command line is a text interface to your computer. Well, that's obvious. Windows has the same thing. Often referred to as the shell, or terminal, console, prompt, or various other names. It can give the appearance of being complex and confusing to use, yet the ability to copy and paste commands from a website combined with the power flexibility the command line offers means that using it may be essential when trying to follow instructions online, including many on this very website. This tutorial will teach you a little history of the command line, then walk you through some practical exercises to become familiar with a few basic commands and concepts. We'll assume no prior knowledge, but by the end I hope you feel a bit more comfortable the next time you're faced with some instructions that begin open a terminal. Okay, so that's a long, brief history lesson. I'm not going to go into the history lesson. I already knew Linux was a part of the Unix mainframe. The guy who developed Linux was basically sacked from Apple, and he created his own Unix-based system, Linux. It's my understanding of it. So next we go on opening a terminal. So on the Ubuntu system, you'll find a launcher for the terminal by clicking on the Activities item at the top left of the screen. So I'll click the top left. Then type in the first few letters of terminal. Okay. And there we go. Wait for it to load. Oh, there we go. Yes, the developers have set the launcher with all the most common synonyms, so you should have no problems in finding it. Okay. Other versions of Linux and other flavors of Ubuntu will usually have the terminal launcher located in the same place as your other application launchers. It might be hidden away in a submenu, or might have a submenu. You might have to search for it within your launcher, but it's likely to be there somewhere. Okay. If you can't find a launcher, or if you just want a faster way to bring up the terminal, most Linux systems use the same default keyboard shortcut to start it, so Control-Alt-T. Handy. However, you launch the terminal, you should end up with a rather dull-looking window with an odd bit of text at the top, much like an image below. Yep. And depending on your Linux system, the colors may not be the same, and the text will likely say something different. But the general layout of the window with largely mostly empty text area should be similar. Right, so what are we going to do here? So let's run our first command. Click the mouse on the window and make sure where your keystrokes will go. Then type the following command, all in lowercase, and pressing the enter and return key when found. So that's pwd, enter. You should see a directory path printed out, probably something like /home/your username. Then another copy of that odd bit of text. Right, so there are a couple of basics to understand before we get into the detail of what the command actually did. First is that when you type a command, it appears on the same line as the odd bit of text. The text is there to tell you the computer is ready to accept command. It is the computer's way of prompting you, in fact, unusually referred to as the prompt. And you might sometimes see instructions that say, bring up a prompt, open a command prompt, at the bash prompt, or similar. They're all just different ways of asking you to open a terminal to get to the shell. Okay. The second thing to understand is that when you run a command on any output it produces will usually be printed directly into the terminal. Then you will be shown another prompt once it's finished. Some commands can output a lot of text. Others will operate silently and won't output anything at all. Don't be alarmed if you run a command and other prompt immediately appears, as that usually means the command succeeded. If you think back to the slow network connections of our 1970s terminals, those early programmers decided that if everything went okay, they may as well save a few precious bytes of data transfer by not saying anything at all. Okay, now that the command itself, pwd, is an abbreviation of print working directory, all it does is print out the shell's current working directory. But what's a working directory? One important concept is to understand that the shell has a notation of a default location in which any file operations will take place. This is the working directory. If you try to create new files or directories, view existing files, or even delete them, the shell will assume you're looking for them in the current working directory, unless you take steps to specify otherwise. So it's quite important to keep an idea of what directory the shell is in at any given time. After all, deleting files from the wrong directory could be disastrous. If you're ever in doubt, the pwd command will tell you exactly what the current working directory is. You can change the working directory using the cd command, on abbreviation for change directory, so similar to Windows. Right, so as you can I'm probably repeating what I've just said. Like, you can change the working directory using the command cd command, an abbreviation for change directory, yes, which is in Windows, yes. Try typing the following: cd / and then pwd. Right, so I've done that, and as you can see, no. As you can see here, as that there has changed to that there. Now your working directory is /. If you're coming from a Windows background, you're probably used to each drive having its own letter. With your main hard drive typically being C, Unix-like systems don't split up the drives like that. Instead, they have a single unified file system, and individual drives can be attached or mounted to whatever location in the file system makes more sense. The / directory, often referred to as the root directory, is the base of that unified system. From there, everything else branches out to form a tree of directories and subdirectories. Right, beware, although the / directory is sometimes referred to as the root directory, the word root has another meaning. Root is also a name that has been used for the super user since the early days of Unix. The super user, as the name suggests, has more powers than a normal user, so can easily wreak havoc with a badly typed command. We'll look at the super user account more in section 7. For now, you only have to know that the word root has multiple meanings in the Linux world, so context is important. So from the root directory, the following command will move you into the home directory, which is an immediate subdirectory of /. So cd home, so cd home, pwd. So yep. To go up to a parent directory, this is the case back to /. You use a special syntax of 2 dots and changing directory. Note that the space between cd and ... unlike in DOS, you can't just type cd ... as one command. Right, so cd ... pwd. Typing cd on its own is a quick shortcut back to your home directory. So cd pwd. Oh yeah. So cd by itself is a shortcut back to your home directory. You can also use ... more than once if you have to move through multiple levels of parent directories. So cd ... /... So cd ... /... pwd. Right. Notice that in the previous sentence we described the route to take through directories. The path we use means starting from the working directory, move to the parent, from the nucleation to move the parent again. So if we wanted to go straight from our home directory to the etc. directory, which is directly inside the root of the file system, we could use this approach. So cd pwd cd dot dot etc pwd. Right, okay. Most of the examples we have looked at so far use relative paths. This is the place you end up at, depends on your current working directory. Consider trying to cd into the etc folder. If you're already in the root directory, that'll work fine. So cd etc, no such directory, so cd cd etc. Or I could do it the other way. cd and then go cd dot dot and there we're back in that folder. So and it says, but what if you're in the home directory? So cd, that's the home directory, I believe, pwd. Yep. So cd etc, you'll see an error saying no such file or directory before you even get to run the last pwd. Change directory by specifying the directory name. You will have different effects depending on where you start from. The path only makes sense relative to your working directory. Right, so but you have seen two commands that are absolute. No matter what your current working directory is, they'll have the same effect. The first, when you run the cd command on its own, goes straight to the home directory. The second one is when you use cd fling to switch to the root directory. In fact, any path that starts with the / is an absolute path. You can think of it as saying switch to the root directory, then follow through from there. That gives us a much easier way to switch to the etc directory, no matter where we are currently are in the file system. So cd error cd pwd, so in the home directory. So if we go cd / etc and then pwd, so we're in the etc folder now. It also gives us another way to get back to our home directory and even to folders within it. Suppose you want to go straight to your desktop folder from anywhere on the disk. Note the uppercase D. Right. In the following command, you'll need to replace the username with your own username. The who am I command will remind you of your username in case you are not sure. So Who am I? CWC. So CD /home /CWC uppercase D / uppercase D right. Oh, I messed up. So up. Yes, it does work right. So there we go. See, a space can do everything or nothing at all. Right, so we could type in PWD and it would tell us we're in home, CWC, and then desktop. Right, so it says there is one handy shortcut which works as an absolute path as seen. Using the / at the start of your path means starting from the root directory. Using the tilde character. Where the hell is that on my keyboard? There. Nope, because it doesn't show up on there. Right, What was that key? That's /. Hold on, I'll have to change my keyboard. So how do I do this? Start, settings. Right, keyboard. Region and language. There we are. Right, so United Kingdom, select. United Kingdom, done. And input sources, add. United Kingdom, English UK, add. Right, so I need to log out, restart the machine. To be honest, I never thought of actually of that. So activities. See if this was CMD. It does as well. Right, so let's see if this works. No. Right. That's better. God. Things you gotta go through. Right, so CD. So cd keep on doing that, forgetting the space. Desktop. Yep, so we're in the desktop folder. cd /etc, and now we're in the etc folder. So cd /var /log. So in that folder, cd dot. Now we're in the var, and then cd, which will bring us home. Right, so we've got all them commands there. You must be bored. No, I'm not actually. Thank you very much. But with just moving around the file system by now, but a good understanding of absolute and relative paths will be inevitable as invaluable as we move to create some new folders and files. Right, so I'm going to pause it there and have a quick break, and then we'll get back to it. And we'll start creating files and folders. Okay. No. So we are back, and we're going to continue. And we're going to continue on create files and folders. So what's this? Right. In this section, we're going to create some real files to work with. To avoid accidentally trampling over any of your real files, we're going to start by creating a new directory well away from your home folder, which will serve as a safer environment in which to experiment. So we're going to go on to, so it's MK. Right, I'm going to pause it there because I'm getting a phone call. Sorry about that, guys. That was work phoning us. Right, so go back to this. So what were we at? So we're going to make a directory. So it says here mkdir /tmp /tutorial. Right, so cd tmp /tutorial. Right, so we've made that folder. Notice that the use of an absolute path to make sure. Right, so notice the use of an absolute path to make sure that we create the tutorial directory inside /tmp. Without the / at the start, the mkdir command will try to find a tmp directory inside the current working directory, then try to create a tutorial directory inside of that. If it couldn't find a tmp directory, the command would fail. In case you haven't guessed, mkdir is short for make directory. Now that we're safely inside our test area, which you can double check with the pwd. Yeah. let's create a few subdirectories. So mk dir, so this says I'll type what it says on here, but I'm going to do something different. In fact, no, I'll just do that. It's fine. Right, so it causes less confusion. Right, so I've done that. Right. So there's something a little different about the command. So far we've only seen commands that work in their own directory, that work on their own, cd, pwd, or that have a single item afterwards, cd /cd trade /desktop, but this time we've added 3 things after the mkr ir directory command. Those things are referred to as parameters or arguments. The different commands can accept different numbers of arguments. The mkdir command expects at least 1 argument, whereas the cd command can work with 0 or 1, but no more. See what happens when you try to pass the wrong number of parameters through the command. So mkdir right, so back to our new directories. The command line above will have created 3 new subdirectories inside our folder. Let's take a look at them with the ls command. So whereas before in command prompts, that I'm assuming this is the same, you would press dir. Let's try that, see if that works. Hey, it works. Let's see if this works. Alright. No. Where the dir command works, so ls. So if you followed the last few commands, your terminal should look something like this. It kind of does, yeah. But I added dir on mine. Right, notice that mkdir created all the folders in one directory. It didn't create directory 3 inside directory 2 inside directory 1, or any other nested structure, but sometimes it's handy to be able to do exactly that, and make mkdir does have that away. Right, so mkdir -p dir4 /dir5 /dir6. Enter, and then ls. This time you'll only see dir4 has been added to the list because dir5 is inside it and dir6 is inside that. Later we'll install a useful tool to visualize the structure, but you've already got enough knowledge to confirm it. So yep, so ls, there's dir5, so cd dir5 ls, that's dir6, so there we go. We've moved back to directories, back to the tutorial. Right. Right, so the P that we use is called an option or a switch. In this case it means create the parent directories too. Options are used to modify in which way a command operates, allowing a single command to behave in a variety of different ways. Unfortunately, due to quirks of history and human nature, options can take different forms in different commands. You'll often see them as single characters preceded by a hyphen, as in this case, or as longer words preceded by two hyphens. The single character form allows for multiple options to be combined, and not all commands will accept that. And to confuse matters further, some commands don't clearly clarify or identify their options at all. Whether or not something is an option is dictated purely by the order of arguments. You don't need to worry about the possibilities, you just need to know the options exist, need to know that the options exist and that they take several different forms. For example, the following all mean exactly the same thing. And it says, hashtag don't type these in, they're just here for demonstration purposes. So I'll read this out because you'll not be able to read this. So mkdir hyphen parents space hyphen verbose space dir4 / dir5. Next line, mkdir hyphen p space hyphen verbose space dir4 / dir5. mkdir space hyphen p space hyphen v space dir4 / dir5, and mkdir hyphen pv space dir4 and / dir5. Now that we know how to create multiple directories just by passing them as separate arguments to that make mkdir command, but suppose we want to create a directory with a space in the name, so let's give it a go. Well, that wouldn't work, so it says mkdir space another space folder. Right, that wouldn't work because that would create, like we did with the dir and dir5 and dir6, that would create two separate folders, one called another and one called folder. You probably didn't even need to type that one, and guess what would happen? Two new folders, one called another and one called folder. Yep. If you want to work with spaces in directory names or file names, you need to escape them. Huh? Don't worry, nobody's breaking out of the prison. Escaping is a computing term that refers to using special codes to tell the computer to treat particular characters differently to normal. Enter the following commands to try out different ways to create folders with space in their name. Right, okay. A bit confusing, but never mind. So mkdir folder 1 so it's created that. So mkdir folder 2 ls 8 mkdir keep on doing it backslash space 3 no folder backslash space 3 ls, so that's made folder 3. So make mkdir p folder no, I've gone a bit too far that. So folder 4 folder 5 it's alright, it's not telling us to list after each one. Four, 5, yep. So mkdir /p folder 6 folder 7 right. Although the command line can be used to work with files and folders with their spaces and their names, the need to escape with the quote marks or backslashes make things a little more difficult. You can often tell a person who uses command line a lot from just their file names. They tend to stick to letters and numbers and use subscores or hyphens instead of spaces. Right. Creating files using redirection. So our demonstration folder is starting to look rather full of directories, but is somewhat lacking in files. Let's remedy that by redirecting the output from the out command so that instead of being printed to the screen, it ends up in a new file. First, remind yourself of what the ls command is currently showing. So, yep. Suppose we want to capture the output of the command as a text file. that we can look at or manipulate further. All we need to do is add a greater than character to the end of our command line, followed by the name of the file to write to. So ls space greater than output dot txt. Right. Okay, so it's not exactly what this displayed on the screen previously, but it contains all the same data and is more useful format for further processing. Let's look at another echo. Right, so hold on, I've skipped one. This time there's nothing printed on the screen because the output is being redirected to our file instead. If you just run one ls on its own, you should see that the output text file has been created. So ls. Oh yes, we can use the cat command to look at its contents. So cat output dot txt. Yay! Nice. Okay, so it's not. I'm repeating this, right? So, okay, so it's not exactly what displayed on the screen previously, but it contains all the same data, and it's more useful format for further processing. Let's look at another command. Echo. I know this. Windows has this. It's the very same command. Right, so echo. This is a test. This is a test. Yes, echo just prints its arguments back out again, hence the name. But combine it with a redirect and you've probably got a way to easily create small text files. So echo this is a test less than or greater than test1 dot txt. Echo this is a test test2 and echo this is a third test ls. So I've got output text, test1 text, test2 text, test3 text. Right, so you should cat each of these files to check their contents, but cat is more than just a file viewer. Its name comes from concatenate, meaning to link together. If you pass more than one file name to cat, it will output each of them, one after the other, as a single block of text. So, if you type in cats test underscore 1 dot txt test underscore 2 dot txt test underscore 3 dot txt and boom. Okay, so where you want to pass multiple file names to a single command are often useful shortcuts that can save you a lot of time, a lot of typing if the files have similar names. A question mark can be used to indicate a single character within the file name. An asterisk can be used to indicate a 0 or more characters. These are sometimes referred to as wildcard characters. A couple of examples might be the following commands to do the same thing. So the first line that I've got on here, that's what we did. So the second one is cat test underscore question mark dot txt so less of a line there, so, and then cat test underscore, where's the star? Yeah. So it's done exactly the same thing again. So if you look at the output of ls, you notice that the only files and folders that start with the T are the same 3 test files which you created, so you can often simplify the last command even further to cat t star. So it does it again. So meaning concentrate all the files that start with a TR followed by 0 and no more characters. Let's use this capability to join all our files together into a single new text, then view it. So cat t start greater than combined dot text. So then cat combined dot txt. There we go. Right, so right, so as you can see, the file looks the same. That's not because it's being left untouched, but because the shell clears out the content of the file before it writes out the output of your cat command into it. Because of this, you should be careful when using the redirection to make sure that you don't accidentally overwrite a file you need. If you do want to append to rather than replace the content of files, double up on the greater than character. Right, got you. Repeat the first cat a few more times using the up arrow for convenience, and perhaps a few more arbitrary echo commands until your text document is so large that it won't fill the terminal at once. And when you use cat to display it, in other words, see the whole file now we've used in a different program called Pager, because it displays your file in one page at the time. A standard of Pager of old was called more, because it puts a line of text at the bottom of each page that says more to indicate that you haven't read everything yet. These days there's far better Pager than you should use instead, because it replaces more. The programs decide to call it less, so less combined dot text. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there for now in this video. So we've finished creating folders and files, and I'll get back to the command line in my next video, and we're going to be doing moving, manipulating files. That's where we're going to start from. Okay, so to recap, all we've done is had a look at the command line. It's a bit extensive, but the command line structure or terminal in Linux, and how to learn it. I'm going to have to go through this a bit more just to digest it a bit more, because it was all a bit quick. I'm getting the gist of it, so I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to save everything as it is. I'm not going to do anything with it. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you like my content and would like press the little bell if you would like notifications on future videos. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and hope to see you soon.